Mountain, Island, Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Switchblade, Stab Wound, Red Mage, Blue Mage.
And we're recording.
And we are recording.
For the first time in 2 years.
Indeed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome all. Red Mage, Blue Mage. Hosted by...
Who are you?
Me. Kenny. The Blue Mage. And in the other corner...
Me. Amber. The Red Mage.
We are Red Mage, Blue Mage.
You already told them that.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of redundant opening.
Look.
Like, of all of our openings, this is probably the worst one.
I'm a little rusty. This is a Magic the Gathering trading card game podcast.
If you haven't already figured that out after listening for 15 episodes.
But yeah, let's dive into some content. We've had a lot of misadventures as well trying to record recently.
Oh yeah, one, which as I look over the levels, and also am I recording and is there actually going up and hasn't stopped? Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Whew. Whew. And then what was the last one?
You had to call off for
my brain took a huge dump.
Mental reasons.
That's a nice way of putting it. Just say it. My brain did a poo-poo. It did a big old dumpo.
I'll let you say that.
All right, thanks.
But now we're here, and we are energized and ready to attack. Would you say?
I would say I am super energy today, tonight, whatever it is
whatever
now.
The occasion might be. Well, what do you say we go to an old classic?
The original, the OG segment.
That's right.
Pick a card. You son of a bitch.
Pick a card.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I'm ready. I'm ready to pick a card.
Okay, good. Because this is you. This is your prompt.
Yeah.
Today.
You know why?
Why?
Because recently Met Gala. I mean, recently of this recording, it's been 2 weeks ago. By the time it comes out, it's probably been months.
It's probably been 2 months ago, yeah.
Met Gala.
That's right. And even now, it's been several weeks.
You know what? Whatever. What is time? It doesn't matter.
No, but it got you inspired to think about fashion and magic. So what is the prompt exactly?
I was pretty loose and kind of vague and said just like top 3 like best fashion cards, like cards that have like a really interesting, cool fashion for you.
Yeah.
Not, I always say best, but it's just your favorite.
It's very subjective. Even interpreting the prompt is very subjective.
And usually, because I would pick a topic, I will let you go first. But because I'm excited, can I go first?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Okay. So I only picked 3 cards.
Oh.
But I want to give a shout out first before I do anything.
To a card?
Nope. I don't have a card for it.
Okay.
It's just House Demir in general.
Okay.
So there was some articles as like Return to Ravnica was coming out. I think it was called like Building Guilds. And I think they only did 3 or 4 because they did Boros, they did Demir, they did Selesnya, and I can't remember the other one they did. There's like only 4 of them they did this in. But I just want to say Demir House is my honorable mention because I really like the style they did, and especially in this article that is called Building Guilds House Demir. It shows basically like a lineup of types of fashion, which is a very post-apocalyptic kind of fashion with a lot of asymmetry, cloaks and layering, usually angles and geometric, and dark, of course, because it's Demir.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, hey, I think that's really cool, and I like that fashion in general, and it reminded me of a fashion line that I really like called Demobaza. Have you seen some of their stuff before?
No, but I'm clicking a link.
Click the link, and you'll see why. This reminds me of House Demir.
I'm going to be out of my depth in this conversation.
Why is that?
You're like linking to fashion companies and brands, and I have none of that.
That's all right. I was just to show you why. Do you see how it looks a lot like what the Demir fashion is?
Yes, but with less clothing overall.
Well, because it's more of a like deserty. And also they do lines, and the summer line's coming out right now, so it's going to be more swimwear and
I'm scrolling down though, yes, and I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Demobaza, check it out. It's a crazy fashion line. Of course, it's expensive too.
Yeah, obviously. I was gonna say these the Demir fashions remind me of like wizard costumes that you would make probably.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what I based my One True Dungeon wizard costume off of. Yep. Okay, so out of the way, Demir.
Okay.
Honorable mention your design and house, but let's talk about Orzhov.
Okay.
They're my favorite. They are the greatest. And
best house fashion
for me, because I love opulence. Like I told you before, my favorite art periods is Rococo,
yep.
which is like this ridiculously lavish, gilt,
exorbitant, yeah,
yes, style. It's kind of right along with Baroque, but so anyway, I really liked Orzhov's house because of they're basically combining like high church vestment stuff with like more futuristic, and it's kind of like Demobaza plus, it's like post-apocalyptic plus high church fashion.
I was gonna say if you added like a sacred element to it,
right? And so I think last year's Met Gala was the Heavenly Bodies theme,
and so specifically mentioned Catholicism.
Yes. And obviously Orzhov being Orzhov, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I actually put in the notes, nom 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 symbolisms. But so I have my first card is Cartel Aristocrat. This is not my top. This is just the first card in the 3.
Sure.
Not my favorite. This is number 3. Okay.
That is funny because when you said Orzhov and that was gonna be your fashion, this specific card popped to mind.
Really? So it's Cartel Aristocrat. Do you want to read the card? I can read the card. So
yeah, go for it.
It's a human advisor. Sacrifice another creature. Cartel Aristocrat gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn, 2/2, and it's a white-black. And it depicts a woman wearing this high-collared, white fitted dress. Like the bodice comes in, and then it blooms out at the hips, and then she's got intense 1980s businesswoman shoulders going on with drapey sleeves.
Yep.
And then what I love the most is the headdress.
Yes.
Which is like a full, like no hair shown whatsoever, completely from neck all the way around ears, only showing her face, and then fans out completely like a half sun of. And I love that her bodice it's all white, and then just the details, like the piping is around like the bodice where it comes down into tapering into the hips into the front, and then also on the sleeves 3 rows of piping up the sleeves, and then the headdress has the segments of the fan out are also in black, and then she has the Orzhov symbol right in the middle of her stomach, right underneath her
the
breast.
Eclipse sun.
Yeah. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I think it's great too because it also suggests that radiance with the spokes coming out, the piping coming out.
And you see that in a lot of iconography, especially like religious art and stuff, where they have halos constantly behind heads and stuff to signify a holiness to them. So I'm pretty sure she's a vampire.
I was going to say, if you covered up the creature types there, I would have 100%. I actually thought this was... When I was reading through the card you were just looking at, I thought this was a vampire.
Right. Yeah, especially when it says, the quote is, "Your life serves a higher purpose now, ensuring the continuation of my own."
She should be a vampire. She kills somebody to become invincible.
Yeah. But I really like that also too with the it's just very clean, very symmetrical. So unlike the asymmetry of Demir House, you see a lot of symmetry in the Orzhov as well, and very crisp, clean lines. Oh, it's beautiful.
That's
and also, like
good.
the neck, her collar looks like it's lace of some sort.
Yep, she's got kind of like a spider web, piping around as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, do you want to do your third card? Okay, we're gonna do back and forth now.
Okay. All right, so my number 3 pick. I'll just have you click on it.
Hey, I know this card.
It's Ashiok, the Nightmare Weaver.
Hey.
Like I said, I feel like out of my depth talking about this, which is totally fine. So I don't know how much I'm going to have to say. I like fashion, and I enjoy fashion, and I enjoy looking at cool ideas, but I don't have a lot of language to help describe it. So I guess if we're giving what the cards do, Ashiok is 1 blue black for a planeswalker, 3 loyalty. Their +2 is exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. -X, put a creature card with converted main cost X exiled with Ashiok onto the battlefield. It's a nightmare in addition to its other types. And -10, exile all cards from all opponents' hands and graveyards. So Ashiok is, as the name suggests, they have magic to enter and manipulate people's dreams and nightmares. We'll talk more about Ashiok in the future, I'm sure. But
yes.
the things I wanted to talk about with this, Ashiok's attire in this classic art is very, I don't even know how I want to say it. It's eclectic. There's a lot of elements going on here. There's definitely, like, you're pointing out the simplicity of Cartel Aristocrat, and this, in my mind anyway, goes kind of a different route. It also features that opulence. You've got sort of like gold metallic band elements on one shoulder of Ashiok, and you've got, looks like, more like a really ornate sort of belt ornamentation. I don't even know what it is.
It looks like a huge medallion
Like a clock,
thing.
like a
Flavor it's like Flava Flav. Yes.
And there are ribbons, black ribbons with red outline. This is a shared feature between Cartel Aristocrat, is the high, like, close-fitting collar, which also features a lot of gilt, a lot of gold work. And this all goes down into, like, flowing robes that kind of disappear into shadow. Yeah, I'm not sure. I like this. I like that there's a lot going on here. One thing I noticed as I was picking looking at some of the cards that I chose and some that I didn't, I really like experimentation. That was one of the big things that I enjoyed. And Ashiok, of course. 2 things real quick about Ashiok, the character. Ashiok is very mysterious. In the Magic story, we know basically nothing about Ashiok. Partially by design. Like, a lot of people have asked more about Ashiok, and Wizards has just basically been like, we don't know anything about Ashiok, which I think is why a lot of people, myself included, are drawn to them, because it's like the Wanderer, right? Like, if you tell me we don't know about this character, I'm like, well, I want to know.
No. Show me more.
Yeah.
Show me more nothing.
But and to go along with that, Ashiok is also non-binary, and that's something I also liked in a lot of the fashion cards I was looking at, is like the willingness to do and try anything in fashion. Like, fashion is obviously a form of expression, and it's really cool to use that as like a playground for exploring different possible versions of yourself. And I like this card on a lot of levels, and I think the fashion does play into it for sure.
The pauldron down into arm cuff is pretty great.
Yes.
And for some reason there is like a sort of like a regal in the sense of maybe ranking, because like the ribbon almost looks like the kind of ribbons that you would see on like medallions, like people are awarded things. And then you have this giant medallion thing hanging down there, and I don't know, there's something about it, about the outfit it
is very aristocratic.
Yes.
We also, the camera angle looking up at Ashiok helps that out as well.
Yeah.
Ashiok's looking very imperious, even though you can't see a whole lot of their face.
Well, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. It's in some other dimension. Okay, so that's my number 3.
All right, talking about opulence.
Okay.
Are you ready for this one?
Yep.
Click it.
Woohoo!
Woo! Even the horses got bling. It's Knight of Obligation. 3 and a white, creature human knight, vigilance, extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you must pay a whiter black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. And it's a 2/4. I like the flavor text even is like, he can calculate interest to 6 decimal places even in the midst of a deadly duel. I love that so much. So anyway, this is another Orzhov card. Oh my god, where do I even start? So
there's a lot going on.
So Orzhov had, I mean, you have like these guild mages and other people like pontiffs and stuff like that. And they do have angels as well, and vampires and knights obviously. And so I wanted to explore the armor side, because a lot of the armor is treated very... It's not just utility, obviously.
Yes.
Look at it. He's covered head to toe in gold. And, like, I can't even, like... It's hard on the actual card to see a lot of stuff because it's so small, but I actually saw, like, in a bigger... the actual full-size painting of it. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. So the horse has right in the middle of his forehead, like, this 2 wings with a jewel in the middle.
Yes.
Gold. All of the horse's straps, I don't know what you call horse straps. Yeah, the bridle. No, it's just straps. All these pieces of leather all over this horse have jewels that are set in gold. And then the actual knight themselves has this cloak that is draped over their head. Then you have these massive pauldrons that are gold that come across and have a chain.
Yes.
And you can see the armor underneath, which is some sort of silver metal, but then just everything is filigree and
inlaid with gold.
Inlaid with gold, and it's just... And, like, his cloak even goes down over his arm gauntlet things that have, like, come out past his elbow, and, like, in the center of his elbow is a giant jewel, and then the cape flows down, and there's, like, his saddle is fucking gold. It's just ridiculous.
The cloak looks like if you pulled up, like, a sacred cloth off of a tabernacle and just draped it over
him. Yeah, and, like, his helmet, you don't see his face at all. It's just got the same... It's like the horse, the same huge giant jewel in the middle, and like the giant jewel on his like stomach, and then also you can see parts of his he's kind of at his hand up on his knee, and you can see on his like knee shin guards that he's got a giant jewel or opal or something there as well. And it's just like, you are not. Are you fighting? Like,
what kind of deadly duel are you getting into?
Right, and so to me, this is just yet another, like, armor can be fashionable too, but this is, like, over the top, ridiculous.
This is definitely form over function.
Like, I would like to see this at the Met Gala.
Yes, I can imagine such a thing. And it's also, like, it reinforces so well what Orzhov is all about. Like,
right.
Yeah, we watched that Ristic Studies video about the architecture of Ravnica and the whole idea of the giant church hall with all of the intentionally wasted space above. And it's kind of a similar deal here. Like, all of this stuff on a knight who's ostensibly got to be ready to enforce and to fight is just over the top. This is all very unnecessary. Well, in a good way.
But also it cracks me up is just, like I said, his flavor text, where it's like, even during a fight, he's like calculating stuff as it's happening.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2 card.
Nice. Okay. My number 2 card.
Hey, I've seen this.
My number 2 card is Elish Norn, Grand Cenobite. You're making a disgusted face. This costs 5 white for a 4/7 creature. A legendary creature, Praetor, has vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. You're looking at me very aghast.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what's, like, clothing on this creature.
Not much, I don't think.
It's like a very Lady Gaga card.
Yes, exactly. So let me describe what we're seeing here. The picture is dominated by Elish Norn. She this is also a very regal look. She's like a tall, lithe figure. She has probably the most noteworthy thing is like her head adornment, which is actually, I think, just part of her body.
Yeah.
It looks like some combination of porcelain and bone. It is this giant sweeping pointed, I don't know, visor basically, but it's massive. Like, it extends down past her hips, this thing. It's
something like a tiara just went, like, they scaled it up by like 150 or something. Yeah.
I think possibly what these 2 picks that I had, because I didn't think about this until I was just talking about it now, I think the height of fashion is not having the upper half of your face, basically.
I think that's what it is.
But she has, like, this bone, porcelain, whatever it is, covers a lot of her body, and where it doesn't, like on her abdomen, her neck, the lower half of her face, it's like exposed blood and cords of muscle. What? And then the only piece of clothing here is a long red draped cloth that her attendants are holding up. It's sort of draped over one of her legs as she's walking. I feel like I'm going to struggle to explain why I view this as... But you said you got like a Lady Gaga vibe off of it. So do you see where I'm coming from at all? This makes a statement.
A statement of, I'm a fucking horror as I walk through town because this is my actual flesh and blood and bones.
Yeah, but...
Okay,
so it's interesting because, whereas Ashiok or, Night of Obligation, we were talking about like almost the over adornment thing going on. Here, the only adornment is the red cloth.
We went different paths.
We did. That's fine though. I like your choices a lot. I don't know what else to say about this other than like this. I don't know.
I think you just, overall, aesthetically, it's an interesting and cool minimal thing, and you're into minimal. And I look at this red cloth, and I'm like, this is just your red tablecloth at your house. Do you walk around your house draped in that tablecloth naked and wearing a giant tiara?
Let's go to your number one pick.
Uh-oh. All right. No, it's a good card. It's interesting.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Convincing.
It's interesting. Okay.
You made better comments on it than I did. I am into that minimal look as well.
All right.
Number one for you.
Yes. No surprise. It's another Orzhov card. I can't even say her name.
Teysa.
Teysa. I always want to always put extra vowels and stuff. Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts. 5, white, black. I'm too zoomed in right now to read anything else. Okay. Legendary creature. Human advisor. Vigilance. Protection from creatures. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy that creature. Put a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield for 4.
I forgot what this card did. She is absurd.
It is. And also...
Looking
so
this
is we went with Night of Obligation because I think it is just ridiculous and I love it. Teysa is more like I would want to cosplay this character in this outfit specifically because it is this more minimal, less opulent, but still that crisp symmetry. I love. She's wearing some sort of headpiece that. There's the central part comes down into the middle of her forehead. You can't really see it very well because of this art of this card.
Right.
It's not very high detailed. But she's wearing like this pauldron capelet that has a collar.
It's like a high
that
villain
is
collar.
high collar, but you can see that it's kind of feathered.
Yes.
And it comes down over her shirt, her shoulders in 2 layers. And the second layer underneath is that radiant gold striping that's coming out that you see a lot of.
Yep.
She's got that titty keyhole.
Hell
the
yeah.
Boob window.
Hell yeah.
And with the sun. So gold around and then out. I also really, really like that she's wearing some sort of like bolero, which is like a half jacket. That's gray stripes. And then, but she must be wearing a full body dress.
Yeah.
It looks almost like she's wearing a bodysuit because it's her legs. The way she's sitting is she's in a chair, she's reclined, and she has her legs crossed. And it's like it almost looks like she's wearing a whole bodysuit. Her legs and her arms are like the first layer.
Right.
The
there's like
white
a dress over it.
The dress over it, a white dress that has the boob window. Then you've got that bolero thing. Then you got the pauldrons and all that other stuff. And then I love the gloved hands. I love that it's like basically fingerless gloves in this bodysuit. I don't know. She looks like she's gonna kick ass.
Yeah, definitely.
Honestly, just the way she's posed, the this outfit's so cool.
Yep.
I want to wear this outfit.
Yeah. The setting's really cool too.
Yeah. She has a cane. She has a fucking sweet-ass cane.
I didn't notice the cane.
My God.
It's pretty cool.
Damn, her fingernails are even painted black.
I want to look real quick at the other Teysas.
I don't like the other Teysas.
I forget what they look like.
There are two other Teysas that are like cards that are Teysa.
Right. Oh yeah, these suck.
Yeah, compared to this outfit. Ugh.
Oh man, the original Teysa Orzhov Scion is. She's still got the boob window though.
Yep.
That's
boob
the core component of her outfit.
I mean, that's how you air them out. I mean,
so you avoid that boob sweat.
Yep, that horrible, horrible boob sweat. No, it's gonna do nothing for boob sweat. It's gonna make it worse. Actually, your boobs are touching.
You need below.
You need something that lifts and separates out.
Lifts and vents.
Lifts and vents. You got like fans underneath, and then because like the way it is now, it's like pushed together and crammed up, and it's just gonna be a horrible mess.
Yeah. All right.
So, boob window.
Good pick. I like that a lot.
Okay, good.
Are you ready for my number one?
Is it just gonna be like a floating disembodied head with like some drapery around it? Why did you pick this? This makes no sense. Kenny.
So my number one pick is Experiment Crash.
F for failing this pick a card.
All right, let me read and explain my choice. Experiment Crash is 2 green, green, blue, blue for a legendary creature, an ooze mutant, a 4/6. Experiment Crash has all activated abilities of each other creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. Tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And I do like the flavored text on it as well. It says, of course it will grow beyond control. It was designed to choose its own evolution. Momir Vig. So, if I can come back to the first thing I said with my first card, Ashiok, I think fashion, a big important part of it to me is experimentation. Okay? It's got experiment in the name. Hello. And then also, it's about making new uses of like the pieces around you. And that's what this does. And also that color, that pink, is really nice. This is big. This is bold. This makes a statement. The defense rests.
Fucking rest in hell. God, what the fuck? It's just a giant mass that has an anus just protruding out of the middle of it.
Aren't we all?
It's a sphincter.
Aren't we all?
With giant horns popping out of it. It's
great. It's great. And it's beautiful. And I don't like you shaming Experiment Crash or my choice.
Okay, remember a long time ago when we were talking about whether boots are clothing or accessories?
Yes.
I don't think you understand what clothing and fashion is in general.
That might be fair. I trended to less and less clothes in my picks. Can I flip the script on you a little bit?
What?
You usually have the extra card. Can I give you an extra card?
I guess.
Yeah, maybe you'll be happier with me.
Probably not.
So my extra card, my honorable mention is Vila the Nightclad.
Wow, okay. I mean, this would have been better than an ooze, for sure.
Yeah, so
although also barely any clothes on.
So the honest thing sort of coming out of my like looking at fashion is I tend to like simplicity, and I think that's just me in general, my aesthetic.
Yeah.
I tend to like simplicity, although like I said with Ashiok, like I also like experimenting. I like pushing boundaries too. Mm-hmm. So that's my thesis.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry if my pick disappointed you.
No, you're fine. It was funny. It was good. I like how I was like, it's gonna be a disembodied head just floating on a whatever.
I started giggling because you were pretty much right.
Oh my god. I mean, okay, to be honest, my fashion is not actually opulent. Like,
No.
I'm also fairly simple. I wear the same I have like the same 3 black pairs of pants, except for the one I busted out of the other day.
Well, that's the thing.
My zipper
like,
broke.
A lot of that just comes from like practical reasons, though. I feel like I would go a lot crazier with fashion if I just had money to burn.
Yes, and things to go to like the Met Gala.
Yeah,
I
totally.
would go fucking nuts.
Absolutely.
I would be the Knight of Obligation.
You'd come in with a horse.
Yeah, no, it would be like several men together as a horse. Don't you understand how the Met Gala works?
That's true. Yeah, you're right. You would definitely be like brought into the Met Gala on a litter, like Cleopatra.
No, I want to be held.
I want a
like
horse.
like a baby. And then I'll birth out. Like, this will be part of my transformation, like Lady Gaga did with her like whole like 5 outfits for the Met Gala. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
As we've established, I'm clueless when it comes to fashion. Okay, so moving on to our other segment for today, we are once again entering the construction zone.
Construction zone. It's a bone zone. Put your helmet on, the shit is OSHA. Bust out your lotion, son, but keep your clothes on. The shit is wholesome.
Sheep shop, sheep. Hammer.
So just to be clear, jeep jop is the sound of machines?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you said that in the last one, and I was like, I didn't know what that was at first.
It's like,
Jeep jop.
It's what do you call them?
Forklifts?
Rotating worry things.
A buzzsaw?
No, servos.
Oh. Not where I was going. Yes.
Sheep shop, sheep.
Look out on the construction site. We got all these servos running around.
Sheep shop.
So, yes, construction zone. We're looking at a deck and thinking about how to build it. This time it is... Last time we looked at a commander deck that you were making.
Yes.
Already. Now we're looking at a commander deck that I'm thinking about with War of the Spark having come to a close. We've collectively been thinking a lot about Nicol Bolas, and I want to give my boy Bolas a good send-off with a commander deck built around Nicol Bolas the Ravager.
Dang, look at all this. You got a list? It's all in caps.
I do have a list. Yeah, it's all in caps because that's how it was on my other page. So just a super quick rundown of things that are in here. I've got all 4 Bolas Planeswalker cards. I've got a ton of cards that are about Nicol Bolas or feature Nicol Bolas or have art of Nicol Bolas or flavor text of Nicol Bolas. And yeah, it's just I just wanted this to be a tribute and send-off. I like the character. I like playing that card. I like feeling like a powerful villain whenever I'm playing this game. So that's what I wanted to do. Now,
Wowie.
So my question...
Yeah.
There are kind of 2 ways I thought about building this deck, and I don't know which way I want to go with. One is just much more about the flavor, where it's like I just described. So it's got like, the Locust God, the Scorpion God, the Scarab God. It's got Disciple of Bolas. It's got all these cards that are referencing Bolas in some way, or some of them are evoking him indirectly. So like I included the card Evil Twin in the list because Bolas is the evil twin with Ugin.
Yep.
And things like that. I'm trying to think if there are any other cards that like there's stuff like in Bolas's Clutches, Dark Intimations, Propaganda, Supreme Will, Slave of Bolas, The Eldest Reborn. So there's all these cards that are referencing him. So that's one way. Just make it like purely flavor kind of build.
Just like so with like no like real like win condition or anything. Just like I just want to make a fun jank deck essentially.
Yeah, and I kind of like I loosely made it into like a controlling deck, which I mean those colors and those cards naturally lend themselves to, but not too much attention put to that. The other way go ahead.
I was to say, so what are the 3 colors? I don't know that the commander deck.
Blue, black, red.
Okay, yeah, that's Nicole.
Anyway. Yep. And then that's one way that I could go. The other way I've thought about going is making it, because it has those planeswalkers in there, I thought about adding more planeswalkers that are connected to Bolas's story. So stuff like, Tezzeret and, whoever else. Liliana, that kind of thing. And then making it kind of a proliferate planeswalker-y deck. Because another feature that I have in here, the Amonkhet set, which is, that's the world that he took over and corrupted. There were a bunch of like pyramid style cards where you would put brick counters on something, and this artifact would build up, and eventually it would get some awesome power once you built it up high enough. So I thought, combine those counters, planeswalker counters, make it a proliferate kind of deck where the whole goal is to like build up walls and then proliferate your way through. So that's got more of like a strategy, like it's trying to accomplish something.
Sounds like a slog.
Well, I like a good slog. We're not making your deck anymore.
Oh, Lord.
We're making my deck.
Okay. Well, it looks like you already made your deck.
Well, this is one list. The full document has like a big list of cards I was considering, and I had a different version of this set up, and I am not in any way decided which way I really want to go with it.
Go with what your gut tells you. What your heart says. Do you want to have fun, or do you want to be a slog master?
Oh, ¿por qué no los dos?
You can't choose one.
If I go with my heart, I'd go with the version I have here, the flavor one.
Yeah.
Just because if I want to win the game, then I shouldn't be building a Nicol Bolas the Ravager commander deck.
Yeah.
And if I want it to be a Bolas deck, then it should just be a Bolas deck.
It should just be a Bolas deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flavor!
So maybe
Who cares about winning? Nobody cares about winning. I don't care about winning.
My favorite kind of commander deck is the one that is fun and has a chance to win.
Oh. I don't know what it's like to win. I've never won a game.
Not just Magic.
Ever. I haven't won anything, ever.
Do you want to do paper, rock, scissors real quick? See if you can win?
Okay, let's see. Ready?
Wait. Are we shooting on 3 or 1, 2, 3, shoot?
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot.
You have to keep your hands up.
You won.
No, keep your hand on the camera.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay.
Oh, it's a tie.
2 scissors. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
I lost. I did rock.
Well,
see, I've never won a game.
Well, that's incontrovertible evidence. You're a loser.
I will be. Yep. I ain't never gonna win.
That's factually untrue.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you want to hear about some cards I picked for you?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh like that. Okay.
That makes me full of hope for these suggestions. You want to hear about my cards?
So we said red, blue, black, right?
Yep.
Let me just bring this up. Tippity tap. Okay, it's up. How about this one called Mudhole?
What?
It's an instant. It only costs 2 in a red. Target player removes all land cards in his or her graveyard from the game.
The end?
Sorry.
That's all it does?
How about depressing orb? Oh, I mean dispersing orb.
Depressing orb?
It's 3 blue. Pay 3 to blue. Sacrifice a permanent. Return target permanent to its owner's hand.
You're not taking this serious.
How about bargain? 2 to 1. Wait, that's not your color. How about
Are you clicking random?
I
found you out.
I looked up into Google. I said worst Magic cards. But I got a list of top 10 worst cards for you.
Okay.
Because Nicol Bolas is garbage. How about Razor Boomerang? 3 colorless.
I know that one.
Yeah. I'm not even going to read it because whatever. This bit's tired. Yeah, I really don't know how to, since my, we've talked about before, I really don't have as an intense background. I just have a few years and then nothing for a long time. I don't really have a lot to draw on. I could be ooh, it'd be good for this deck would be X. I would literally have to spend hours and hours and hours researching cards to find something that would go in with your theme, which, yeah, that would be... Sorry, Kenny.
It's okay. But literally for me, like, I mean, I do have like more of that like card knowledge than you do, but I mean, mostly what I do too for building decks is just go onto Gatherer or Scryfall and do advanced searches for like one of the searches I did for Duretti was like go into advanced search, color identity red, and typed into the text line contains artifact. So just all the red cards that reference artifacts. And you are right. Like it takes time because most of the stuff you find is not useful or powerful.
And you're just scrolling through for a long time trying to find stuff. And I just didn't have time to get real suggestions for you. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I mean, I put in those hours for you and your commander deck list, and it's okay if you're not able to reciprocate and give me the same amount of time. That is all good.
You chose a blob anus for your top fashion choice, so I don't know. I think we're kind of like
maybe we're
equal in this episode. So
we're both pieces of shit. Is that the moral of today's story?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
speaking of shitting, time to go.
Well, we better make this goodbye pretty quick. We're Red Mage, Blue Mage, Red, Blue. You can email us at redmagebluemage@geekspective.com. Twitter at redbluemtg. I'm at Wolfmere. She's at Rocket Orca. She's going to take a shit.
It's happening right now.
I took too long.
God.
Cut. Bye. Get out of here.